Well, week 2 is officially in the books, and here we are looking down week 3. Lots and lots to talk about. We're going to jump right in, guys. Let's talk about the game of the week. Guys, this was fantastic. Thursday night had a great matchup. Washington Commanders, Green Bay Packers. Tim, you have to be excited what you're seeing with your Green Bay Packers this year.
It's only 2 weeks, but
it's only 2 weeks.
2 weeks. 2 weeks looking good. The defense obviously is the story with Green Bay. Micah Parsons, just the energy, everything he brings out there. Not only is he elevating his game, he looks like he's playing angry, right? But he's motivated all the people around him. They're looking good. Josh Jacobs, 10th straight game with a touchdown, with a rushing touchdown. So he's clicking. A few penalties, a few things that allowed Washington to kind of hang around in the game, to be honest with you. I think I even texted you guys during the game, Packers, felt like the Packers should have put up 50, like you pulled a Detroit, right? No, Packers overall look good, and Washington kind of looked, I hate to say we're right, but so far we're right of what our predictions were a few weeks ago as far as the way they were looking. They couldn't stop Tucker Kraft. Tucker Kraft had an insane game, the Green Bay's tight end, and just Jaden Daniels looked very ordinary. I wouldn't say anything special about him. He just looked like an ordinary quarterback. And part of that, when you play a good defense, that's what happens. But also, I would be a little concerned. I know he came up hobbled there at the end, but it was a good game for Green Bay, and they get that little mini bye this week. Both teams did, hopefully to recover and rest up a little bit.
Yeah, Josh, Jordan Love threw for 292 yards, 2 touchdowns. Of course, they win 27-18. That Packers defense is looking good. Packers defense is putting a little pressure on the Commanders. What's your take on the game?
Right, so Jaden Daniels threw the ball 4 times, 24 completions, so 57%, and then 200 yards flat. So he wasn't really getting a ton done, at least efficiently, through the air there. His top target has been Zach Ertz and Deebo Samuel, so the guy that they paid, Terry McLaurin, has not really been producing. He only had 50 yards in this game, 48 yards. But you see, like last year, Jamar Chase was getting paid, and he sat out, and he came back, and he wasn't great for the first few weeks, but then he ultimately ends up as the wide receiver 1 on the season. So we're going to see Terry McLaurin emerge at some point here soon, you would imagine. But we have yet to see that big game. We've yet to see a touchdown from him. And then, of course, Austin Eckler goes down with an injury, an Achilles tear, so he's done for the year. The concerns that we had going into the season, as Tim mentioned, like the age of the team and the lack of depth in the running back room, now you really get to see, because apparently they traded Brian Robinson because of how good Bill was doing. Now we only get to see Bill. And I imagine they'll trade for somebody that wasn't healthy and active, maybe Roshan or Damian Pierce or somebody. But we're going to see this young team with a backup quarterback now, and hopefully a defense that can do wonders with Dietrich Wise being out now.
Yeah, Caleb, Jaden never found his rhythm. Threw 59%, typically 69% off last season, so it's down. Never really got going. What's your take on this game?
I mean, the Packers, I think we all picked them to win this game. They're great. Tucker Kraft made himself known to the world, even though we all kind of knew who he was, because we're all fans of Tucker Kraft. But I think the only knock on the Packers is their special teams. I think that they looked a little rough on kick returns. They couldn't break anything out, and it was just a little messy there. But everything else, they looked fantastic. I think they're a top 5 team in the league. I like them for the NFC right now. For my Super Bowl pick, too early, but I think they're really good, really solid. There's no holes in their offense other than Jaden Reed being gone, but I think that they'll figure that out.
Yeah, and with that, Jaden Reed was, as you mentioned, special teams. They have Rich Bisaccia, as we remember, in the few games there at the season with him on the Raiders. But he's a special teams coach now, and Jaden Reed, like you mentioned, is now out. So we're probably going to see more of Matthew Golden returning the football for them this coming week.
Matthew Golden. All right, let's move on. We have a lot of games to talk about. The New York Giants visit the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas somehow pulls it out with a 40-37 win. Tim, this game seemed like it was going on way into the second tier. Any comments on this game?
Brandon Aubrey, man. Brandon Aubrey has more fantasy points than like a slew of the stars. He wins it for Dallas with the 64-yard field goal. Giants, you got to be encouraged by Russ, right? I mean, my goodness gracious. I think it was 450 yards passing or some insane number, including he had that 48-yard strike to their number 1 receiver, Malik Neighbors. And so with I think it was like 25 seconds left right in the game. So I mean, Russ looked great. If you're a Giants fan, obviously you want to win that game. You don't want to go 0-2, but you have to kind of weirdly walk away somewhat encouraged, like, all right, maybe we don't need to start Jackson Dart week 3, right? So they might have a little something going on. Defensively, obviously, we thought Giants were going to be a force to be reckoned with. And you can't say any team's a force to be reckoned with when they give up 40 points. So I think there's maybe a little bit of concerns there on the defensive end.
Yeah, and just to add to what you mentioned about the quarterback play, Dak Prescott threw for 361 yards, Caleb 2 touchdowns. Of course, had the famous slide at the end. You know, he really, we call him the daddy around here, and we call him the daddy because
you call him that. You call him that.
Okay, I feel like we call him that, and it's because he owns the Giants pretty much. He's got an incredible streak against the Giants. But your take on the game, Caleb?
I mean, it was a good game. It was stressful, obviously, going to overtime with a high-scoring game like that. The Giants' front seven is great. I don't know what was up. It was just every drive people were scoring. We watched them, I think it was week 1. Who'd they play week 1, Josh? You're smart.
The Giants?
Yeah.
The Commanders?
Yeah, they held them to, how much did they hold them to? I should have wrote this down. I'm sorry. Their defense looked much better.
It was 21. But
anyway.
they held them to 21. Their offense just couldn't do anything.
Yeah, that's what it was. Sorry. But Russell Wilson, he looked amazing. I mean, it looked like he didn't lose a step from Seattle to then. You would like to have him not gone to Denver and all that. I wish we could erase that from our brain, but he looked like old school Russ, just airing it out. I mean, the punt balls that he had where you can just throw it over everybody and the receiver go get it. I mean, it was just vintage Russell Wilson. It felt great. But Dallas pulled it out only because of the kicker. I mean,
yeah,
Brandon Aubrey, MVP.
Yeah, for this game, I mean, are we really scared of Scatterbo and Tracy and Singletary?
No. I
don't necessarily, like Tim mentioned, it's probably a concern for the Dallas defense. I know they had Deron Bland out. They're now having to start Kyrie Elam, who they traded for, who they've assured us he's a starter. But in this game, him and whoever was playing, I mean, you can't make excuses. All of the corners were not playing great for them in this game. But like Caleb said, you get a vintage game from Russell Wilson. You had long plays in the passing game of 48 to Malik Neighbors for a touchdown, like Tim mentioned. Wan'Dale Robinson for 50 and a touchdown, and 52 from Darius Slayton. So you have 3 plays essentially of 50 yards, and then you have Malik Neighbors' best career game, and probably Wan'Dale Robinson's most yardage in an NFL game as well. So they're clearly doing well through the passing game. Russell Wilson is currently your passing leader in the NFL with 618 yards. Right behind him, Daniel Jones. So the two guys, everyone trashed the whole offseason, are leading our NFL in passing. But Dak's 5th right there in the passing yards there. But, concern for the Dallas defense. The Giants defense played well. Yeah. And I would also be concerned for Jake Ferguson. He's just not looked great. And they need someone to be established there as their third option.
Yeah, and we knew going in, as you said, that the Giants' defense should be stout. They should have it together. Of course, they allowed an awful lot of points too, even though it was an overtime game. So we'll look and see how these are going to transpire. As you said, Dallas has some injuries. They just did sign Jadeveon Clowney to hopefully get a little more pressure on the outside. Okay, let's move down the list. Stop me when you guys want to talk. Seattle Seahawks visit Pittsburgh Steelers, come out with a win. Seemed like a pretty even game until that debacle at the end zone where the Steelers lose. It was 31-27. You had something, Josh?
I was going to mention how well the defense for the Seattle Seahawks has played. They're allowing 17 points per game. That's 1.5 more than the Packers. So they've been playing at a top level, just like the Packers, respectfully. And then also, they have 4 interceptions this year already, so 2 a game, and they put up 30 points. So they look good. They stepped up. They've had a ton of rushes. I know Charbonnet had 15. Kenneth Walker had around the same range. So they look pretty good on both sides of the ball. And Sam Darnold, he's reunited with his offensive coordinator from previous years. So immediately jumping in there and having a good game.
Yeah.
Wasn't Witherspoon and Reek Woolen out in this game?
So they talked about benching Tariq Woolen because I think he's the one that got mossed by Tonjes week 1. So I think we saw Shaq Griffin came in and he immediately got hurdled by Jaylen Warren, and then I think Woolen finished the game. But yeah, Witherspoon, and I can't remember the other name that was out for that game. But yeah, they were down a few guys.
Yeah, moving down the list.
Back 100-yard receiving games for JSN, by the way.
Yeah.
Nice start for his season, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
100%.
Yeah,
Great.
Talk about good performances. The Rams visited the Titans. They come out with a win 33-19, but not before rookie Cam Ward led 3 scoring drives for a halftime lead over the Rams. Of course, they lose the game 33-19. Let's talk about the Bills. No surprise here. They win despite Josh Allen probably breaking his nose and coming out of the game dripping blood, 30-10 over the Jets. Another quarterback down. We talked about Fields, and he left the game under concussion protocol. So both quarterbacks went down in the game. Josh, do we expect both of those players to play this week, or have we heard anything yet?
Justin Fields, from what I know, is a concussion, so that could be. It's going to be week to week, so he could miss this next game, but it shouldn't be a long-term thing. Josh Allen, he finished the game, he's fine. So we only saw Mitch Trubisky, I think, for 2 plays, so he's definitely fine for the next week.
Moving
He's
along,
going to be wearing like a protective gear.
Visor.
Is what he said today. Yeah, a visor. Yep. Yeah.
Probably smart, because I saw the after pictures. It looks like he'd been in a fight and lost. So his was swole up pretty good. New England Patriots visit the Miami Dolphins, division rivals. Drake May passed for 230 yards and 2 touchdowns in the win, 33-27. Another surprising back-and-forth game. The Jacksonville Jaguars visit the Bengals. The Bengals win 31-27, but they lose Joe Burrow for, I think this is a turf toe, and it looks like he's going to be out for 3 months for turf toe.
Yeah, it's a grade 3 strain, so that's basically off the bone. So he needs surgery. It's not pretty. Man, couldn't imagine that. For as a team, I mean, they're 2-0. They look better than they are. I don't think they're going to maintain that. They've been squeaking by with Joe Burrow. Yeah, Jacksonville would have won the game if they didn't have grease all over their hands. So they had like 20 drops in this game.
Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah, touchdowns dropped, first downs dropped, the game-winning drive dropped. It's just miserable.
I don't know what it is. Jacksonville looks like they should score 40 points every week, and then they just have they don't convert on 4th down, and right at the 1, they don't convert. They have drops, like Caleb mentioned, and so it's interesting because Trevor Lawrence has a near perfect passer rating, throwing to anyone not named Brian Thomas and Travis Hunter, which is ironic, of course, because they're the top 2 options. But Brian Thomas, I don't know. He looks kind of scared to catch in traffic right now. I really don't know. And then of course he had a drop on the 1-yard line that would have been the one that they missed on 4th down. So, but to talk about the Bengals, Jake Browning starting. I think that's a short leash. They added Mike White, Sean Clifford, I want to say, and then they're reaching out to other teams. So maybe somebody like Jameis Winston or somebody better than Jake Browning to show up for them. But their schedule is the Minnesota Vikings, Denver Broncos, Detroit Lions, Green Bay Packers, Pittsburgh Steelers, New York Jets, Chicago Steelers, Patriots, Ravens, Bills, Ravens, and then Joe Burrow can come back. So I don't know.
1 or 2
It's not looking great for them through that set regardless. So maybe we don't even see Joe Burrow for those last 3 games.
A couple more
Chase
games.
Brown, their running back, has not performed at all.
No.
My goodness. I think he had 16 carries the other day for 47, 48 yards. That's not
And
good.
he's the only guy there.
Right. Yeah. I know.
Yikes.
So,
Yeah, some changes need to happen. Let's talk about Mac Jones. 3 touchdown passes, led the 49ers to a win over, we call them the lowly Saints, 26-22. Also, another division game that happened, the Baltimore Ravens. Why do I always say things about Jackson and things and get it always wrong? Baltimore Ravens defeated the Cleveland Browns 41-17, kind of an embarrassing loss even for the Browns. And then one more game, we'll pause on this one. The Detroit Lions, they're back, baby. Somehow the week 1 must have been an anomaly because 52 points against their old offensive coordinator versus the Bears 21. Again, Tim, you're the expert on this division. 52 points. Are you surprised?
If you go back to last week, I said the Lions weren't as bad as they looked against the Packers.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say the Lions aren't as good as they looked against the Bears. Amen. I mean, you had Amon-Ra and Jamison Williams both putting up for a second time ever, both putting up 100-yard games. They look good. The Bears just look so bad. So I don't know if this is, I think the Lions continue to go for it. They went for it on fourth down. I don't know how much you saw the game, but they went for it late in the Lions, even when they were up by like a ton. So I don't know how much of that was just rubbing in Ben Johnson's face or just trying to show the world, no, they still got something. But Jared Goff, like on play action, my gosh, I wrote this down. He was 12 or 14 on play action, 198 yards, 2 touchdowns. Like, that's insane. Like those are crazy stats. So the Lions are a very good team. I don't know if they're where they were last year, but they are a very good team. But the Bears are also a very bad team right now. And if I'm a Bears fan, I'd be very concerned.
Josh, you have a take on this one?
The same issue continues for the Bears. Last week against J.J. McCarthy, they had several DBs out, and they had T.J. Edwards out as well. So Noah Sewell was playing. T.J. Edwards not back fully, so we had a lot more Noah Sewell. That was not great for the Bears defense. And then Jalen Johnson, he came back, I believe, played for a minute. If you watched the game, you really didn't see him. Now he's out for the rest of the year. So they have their number one cornerback now out for the season. Gordon was already hurt. There's a big problem there they're going to have to figure out. But for the first half, at least, it was a close game in the first half until you had that Tesla catch on the sideline, which I guess he didn't realize that he was in bounds. He was kind of just running around Chase Claypool-esque with the football. And I don't know. They gave him the second, but it didn't look like they had a second left. So it was a one-score game until that point in the first half.
Yeah.
Caleb, bring us home on this one.
Yeah, hard to win football games when your secondary's beat up, and they attacked that for sure. Like Tim said, play action. They ran the ball well in the first half, and then the second half, they just rubbed it in their face. Amon-Ra had 3 touchdowns. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Yeah. And Tim prefaced this game last week saying, Terrion Arnold's hurt, and their secondary's hurt outside of the 2 safeties, Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph, and they let up 128 yards and 2 touchdowns to Roma Dunze. So there's an obvious concern there as well, despite only allowing 21 points when you score 52. But obviously a big game for receivers. First 3-touchdown game, I want to say, for Amon-Ra. So don't expect that every week, like Tim's saying, where they're somewhere in the middle from the last 2 games.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's talk about another game, maybe a surprise, but it took a penalty so that kicker Spencer Schrader could get a second chance to kick the game-winning field goal, 36 yards. Colts win. What in the world? The Colts are 2-0. Josh, I know you're a big fan of their running back. He looked like he's very comfortable in this offense this year, maybe the first time ever.
They're getting him more utilized in the passing game, which they're just giving him good reads, good opportunity. He had 2 catches for 50 yards, so when you get him the ball, he's explosive, of course. He's top 5 in the NFL history for yards per game as a running back. So obviously that'll dwindle down a little bit as his career gets in the older years. But it looks great. Daniel Jones, our second best quarterback in the league right now, and the Colts are the first team in NFL history to not punt. So they've scored every single drive, a field goal or a touchdown.
Insane.
First team to not punt in the first 2 weeks. So obviously not realistic, but something you're fortunate to see if you're a Colts fan.
Caleb,
shout out to their punter.
Yeah, shout out to the punter. Caleb, I was going to ask you so far, are you surprised, Caleb? Are you buying this? The Colts are actually good with Daniel, or are you selling that they are? Too soon?
Yeah, I'm going to wait. I don't think it's sustainable. I think they're good. Any team that has Jonathan Taylor or someone like that, they're going to be balanced. They're utilizing all their receivers. Downs, Pittman, Pierce are all getting involved. I think they all had over 40 yards this game, which is better than most years. I think Tim said at week 1 that they only scored, 12 touchdowns the whole year or something.
Yeah.
Not good. They're already on pace to beat that, so much better than they were. The coaching's way better. The play calling's way better. It just seems like they care, which is just weird. But still salty about Anthony Richardson being benched. But Daniel Jones.
Yeah. Tim, your thoughts?
Just from
Jonathan Taylor, the stat that stood out to me, the 165 for as far as rushing yards, that's eye-popping. But more impressive, I think, is the 114 yards after contact is what he gained. That's an insane number, guys. I mean, most running backs aren't doing that, I'll tell you that. And so when you have that and you have Daniel Jones putting up 316 yards, and the thing that is encouraging, you got to, if you paid attention to that game, you want to see how teams respond when they're down. They were down in the second half, and they're playing a good opponent. So to see Daniel Jones rally that team and come back strong, I don't know. I agree with Caleb and Josh. I think it's too early to start saying, oh, they're the team to beat in the South, but they're interesting to watch.
Josh, you had a point.
Oh yeah, Caleb talked about the punter highlights. They posted a video of their punter highlights, and it's just him holding the ball for the field goals. But yeah, the Colts, if you look at every offensive metric, like we said, second in passing yards for Daniel Jones behind Russell Wilson. They're second in yards per game as a team. They're putting up 31 per game offensively. I mean, they're top 3 in everything. Time of possession, third down efficiency, they're 6th. And then their defense is getting interceptions, they're getting sacks. So I don't know what's happening for them, but the Broncos are a great team. They get a ton of pressure on the quarterback. And so to be able to have a win against Bo Nix and that defense, it was definitely something needed long term for their rest of their schedule.
For sure. A couple more games, and we're getting through this week 2 action. The Carolina Panthers go to Arizona and lose 27-22. What a lot of people were saying was the game of the week, a rematch of the Super Bowl. Philadelphia Eagles visit Kansas City. Hard to beat Kansas City in Arrowhead. However, Chiefs lose 20-17. This, Caleb, amongst criticism from some of the Chiefs players that were mic'd up, screaming that Jalen Hurts didn't even have 100 yards, and his response was, whatever, he cursed and said, we won. So your take on this? The win's a win, right?
I guess so, but I don't want anyone to tell me he's been a great quarterback this year. Their OC said today that they're going to have more rushes for Jalen Hurts and less passes, which if you're A.J. Brown, you're probably punching in the locker room right now.
I'm punching the locker room.
I could see him reading more books on the sideline. We saw last year when he wasn't getting the ball a lot that he was kind of losing his mind there. I could see that getting worse, more drama. The tush push is very annoying. I'm sorry. I can't stand it. But the Chiefs just look broken. I think the Chiefs are just not good. They're not feeling it right now.
Yeah.
They don't have a number 1 receiver still. They're still waiting 3 more weeks for Rashee Rice to come back. Run game has looked terrible. Mahomes has more rushing yards than the running back to do the last 2 weeks. It's just not. It's not good.
Tim, in reference to these, the Chiefs looking terrible, is it a personnel issue? Are they flat? What do you think the reason is?
I don't know. I don't think the Chiefs know either, to be honest with you. I think they have the talent there, but Caleb just said, you're missing your top receiver. You're missing probably your top 2 receivers, right? And Rice and Worthy and Pacheco is just there's just something not right when Mahomes has to do it all, and we all agree Mahomes is a phenomenal player, but it's not the NBA where you can just have one phenomenal player and have him dominate. You've got a bunch of guys out there on the field, and he could be passing it everywhere, but if they're not making the catches or they're not running the routes correctly, and Travis Kelce, I'm not quite sure. I know people like getting on him, but he's been a very good player, but he does not. Yeah. We're only 2 games in, but he has not seemed like the Travis Kelce that he's been. So I'm not quite sure what the problem is with the Chiefs. I don't think it's just one thing, but if they don't start turning around quickly, it's gonna get late very early here in the season.
Yeah, Josh, any thoughts?
Yeah, just to build off what Tim was saying with Travis Kelce is yes, he's not what he was, but he's also not been reliable either. He dropped that touchdown, which turned into an interception. He killed Xavier Worthy week 1. Beginning of the drive.
He did.
It's just not been high-level tight end play at any metric. And so you take the most reliable player out of your offense. Obviously, they lost Tyreek Hill years ago, but you take out Worthy and you take out Rice, and you're relying on Hollywood, who didn't really have a ton of time in live games to build a chemistry with Mahomes. Mahomes is having to do everything, like Tim said. And so is that going to win you a football games every once in a while because it's Pat Mahomes? But also, he can't be your leading rusher. He can't have double the amount of rushing stats as your running backs, Kareem Hunt or Pacheco or whomever they throw out there at some point. It's just they're not a top level offense, and people kind of expected it as far as fantasy because people weren't drafting 2nd round Pat Mahomes anymore. Right. They're kind of letting them dwindle down under guys like Bo Nix and all these upcoming players who have a sound offense.
And Yahoo ADP.
Say that again.
Yeah, it's
JJ McCarthy was drafted over Mahomes in the average of every draft in Yahoo.
Well,
Wrong
if
at every
we're-
level.
I'm not making it up.
No, I know. It's wrong. It's so wrong.
They're 0-2. Their schedule has not been fair to them, we'll say, at least, because they played the Eagles, they played the Chargers, who were allowed the least amount of points the previous year. Now they get a matchup against the Giants. So we'll see what happens there. I mean, statistically, they're a worse team than the Giants so far this year on every level. So we'll see how that goes. Is it an easy matchup for them just because it's Pat Mahomes? I guess we get the answer this upcoming week.
If the Chiefs' run game does not come to life against the Giants, then it's completely broken. Because Javonte Williams had 130 yards last week against the Giants.
Well, but that Giant defense is stout. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't choose to come alive against the Giant defense.
Their linebackers are banged up. Micah
true.
McFadden's out the whole year. They're rotating the guy, so it's just.
But if you imagine if all they have to do is stop Mahomes, then why shouldn't Pacheco have any run over 10 yards, or why shouldn't Kareem Hunt get in the goal line once? Something. But it's just been a poor start. But the schedule will get a little bit easier for him.
For sure. Let's talk about a game that's a little controversial, I think, Caleb, and we'll get to that. But let's start by saying the Atlanta Falcons beat the Minnesota Vikings 22-6. And I say controversial because, as you mentioned, if you're drafting quarterbacks, they're essentially a rookie. He didn't play last year. Their second-year quarterback was drafted over Pat Mahomes in most, ADPs. He's hurt. And Josh and I sit here and shake our head during the game because I think we all, Tim, I don't want to lot you in here, so refresh my memory. We're not the biggest McCarthy fans. In fact, the three of us are unified that he probably shouldn't be starting and Sam Darnold should still be in purple.
I agree. Yep, agree completely.
Yeah, I don't get it, guys. I honestly, I'm not a big conspiracy theorist, but I'm saying high ankle sprain, wink, wink.
Right.
Yeah, and Josh, is that why? What are you wearing? I can't make out what you got on exactly. It's a black.
What am I wearing? Well, you would think it's AJ Brown, right?
Oh boy, no, don't. Oh, there it is.
But it's our champion, Carson Wentz. He's gonna get the start. Like you said, wink, wink. We don't know what's happening there. It was. I mean, I wish I was exaggerating, but the McCarthy offense, the same offense that it was last year, minus Jordan Addison at this point, looks absolutely just very conservative and not good. Like Caleb said,
very
offensively, first quarter they basically done nothing in the first quarter for 2 games, which is when you have all these design plays. You go out there and you make a hot start, 0 from them, and then nothing picked up in this game. And so McCarthy, we got his in the third quarter. You saw his ankle getting wrapped up. He came back, played fine. Was healthy. He didn't look not play fine, but he was healthy enough to play. And he never really got hit at the end drive there. So he played an entire quarter, moving just fine. But now he's suddenly out, like a day after that game. So it is concerning for them. But Wentz, we'll see. It should be better.
Tim, I see you.
6.1 QBR, by the way. 6.1 was his quarterback rating for this last game. It's ranked 32 out of 33 quarterbacks that have played. 6.1, that's insane. That's horrible. 20.4 is the first 2 games. That's horrible.
Yeah.
So
horrible.
You could watch this game. If you can watch it on silent and then fast forward. You can watch the sideline of the Vikings just melt. Just all the morale gets sucked out of the building. You can see, I know their center and their left tackle were hurt, and they had rotating offensive linemen this game. They had a rookie center, which the snap was a little high a lot. So there's a mulligan there for McCarthy in that sense. But the turnovers, he sailed one. I think it was 3rd down. He sailed it over Jalen Naylor's head, just all arm, and threw it like 5 yards over him, just a flat ball. It was just
swinging across his body.
Yeah, it's not good. You could just see Coach Kevin O'Connell's face every time something would happen. It's just like, we're designing these plays for you just to hit the open guy. You did it 3 touchdowns in the 4th quarter or whatever it was last week. And then Justin Jefferson was on his knees, catching his breath in the last drive, and Thielen walks over to dap him up, and then Jefferson just staring at the ground. McCarthy's clapping, walked down the sideline trying to dap up his O-lineman, and only one guy looks up at him. It's bad. Definitely, I don't think it's conspiracy. I think that they need Wentz to start. They're without Aaron Jones. They have Justin Jefferson. They have Hawkinson. Addison comes back next week. I mean, they have these guys.
Well, Aaron Jones,
they need a quarterback.
Yeah. Aaron Jones, Tim, is he on the list of people that are allegedly injured?
Yeah, I believe he's at 4 weeks, right? A minimum of 4
Mhm.
weeks, right?
Yeah.
Hamstring.
Yeah.
One more thing
But
about
you
McCarthy.
cannot lose this game. Sorry, you cannot lose this game against the Bengals.
You cannot.
You
lose
cannot.
This game. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Josh.
No.
You're up.
But that's why they have a veteran playing, because there's some level of certainty. Even if he plays poor, you're still going to put up points with the players that you have offensively that you mentioned. But J.J. McCarthy, his passer rating in this game was 37.5. They say that his passer rating would have been higher if he just spiked the football every pass attempt.
That's what I heard, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just offensive. It's offensive football.
It's just embarrassing.
I mean, yeah, it's embarrassing.
A team
the Falcons. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
The Falcons, they have 4 rookies starting. And they drafted 2 first-round edge, Jalen Walker, James Pierce, Billy Bowman, and then Watts. You had basically both had an impact as an edge rusher against this team, and J.J. McCarthy a sack and a half. He had both secondary players, Bowman and Watts, have their first interception, and then Bowman had 1 interception they dropped as well. So it would have been 2 picks. It's just, not only is he playing bad, he's playing bad against rookie players as well.
Yeah.
Just a round of applause for the Falcons coaches. They have 4 rookies and they had impact plays. I think they had the biggest turnaround from pressure rate from their edge rushers in a season. I think theirs is in like the 40s right now, 40% pressure rate, which is absurd with rookies. It's crazy.
Yeah. Most sacks in a first.
It's 7 sacks or whatever it was. It's ridiculous. It's just, man. I mean, the Vikings, they watched the Lions and the Packers put it on their team, like the teams that they played. The division's loaded. They can't afford to lose games, especially to a backup quarterback next week.
Oh, yeah. Darisaw was out, but Darisaw was also out for a stretch with Sam Darnold last year, and they continued to win games. So
I just don't understand why you won 14 games with this guy you signed off a bench, and you're just going to let him go. For a guy that averaged less than 200 yards a game in college. He doesn't jump off the page when you look at him. He doesn't jump off the screen. His highlights are not ideal. And he's a winner because of the systems he was in. I just don't know. I mean, Sam Darnold was like 3rd in MVP votes. Why get rid of the guy? It's silly. You have a top 5 defense. You have one of the best coaches in the league. He won Coach of the Year. I mean, man.
And the thing I question, Minnesota has sat there for 20 years now and watched the Packers do it the right way as far as having a veteran quarterback and drafting a first-round quarterback and letting him sit for 3 years. They had the veteran quarterback. There was no rush. There was no rush to put JJ out there. Who's to say that JJ McCarthy wouldn't have been a much better quarterback if he sat for another year or 2 under Sam Darnold? Like, I agree. Why? There was no need for that.
Right at the peak of everyone in that division suddenly getting good.
Yeah. Right.
It's just wrong timing. It's just he had Jim Harbaugh. He has Kevin O'Connell now. If he doesn't improve, can we just point at him and not say that he just needs more time?
Well, here's the problem, fellas. The Packers are 2-0 and the Bears are 0-2. And in this division, that's a lot already for the Bears to have to dig out of. So already in the divisions, we're starting to see some major consequences. Let's wrap up these last 2 games. Both winners scored 20 points. The Buccaneers beat. Man, it's tough on this East Coast to stay up for that late game. I'm like, when's the game? 10 o'clock?
Yeah.
Eastern time? Yeah. Like, bro. Gosh, it's hard. Buccaneers beat the Texans. Houston just doesn't look good. 2019, but that doesn't tell the tale, really. I think the Buccaneers look like they were all over most of the game. That didn't reflect in the score. And we could talk about both or neither if you like, but the Chargers beat the Raiders 20-9. So let's unpack those, and then we'll start looking at the next week, of week 3 stuff. But what are your takeaways from those games, guys? Anything?
I'm concerned I really like the Chargers, like I told you, but my little red flags with them. Khalil Mack got injured. I know it was a late game, but if you can't catch that, he injured his elbow there, and that could be potentially a big loss for them. And my other concern for the Chargers, honestly, is their rushing game. I think they only average like 3.3 yards per carry. Like that's a small. If you want to be up in that upper echelon of teams, you can't be averaging that's such a low average there. And so I like the Chargers a lot. That's my one comment of the 2 games, but that would be my 2 things I'd be looking at if I'm a Chargers fan.
Yeah, I said it looks like him and Keenan Allen just have this, like they've been together for years. I know they played together.
Yeah.
But on the other side of the ball, the Buccaneers do not look like they have their rhythm yet at all, and they're still putting up 20 points, which is admirable. But this offense is not what it was. Is that because they lost their OC, or because he's
Yeah.
a different OC every year. What do you think, Caleb?
I think it's 100% losing Liam Cohen to the Jaguars. I mean, Mike Evans is still Mike Evans. Igbuka's filling in fine for Godwin, but Cade Otton's been a non-factor. They're tight end. He broke out last year, had a couple 100-yard games last year. Literally a non-factor. I think he has 0 catches week 1, and he did nothing this week. I think he might have had 12, 20 yards. I'm not certain, but he did nothing to help them. Bucky Irving and Rashad look to be in a actual committee, which is better for Bucky long-term, but not good for you in fantasy if you drafted Bucky.
No.
The offense, it's manageable. Baker's fine. You saw him run for a lot of first downs last night. He looked good. He's making it happen like he always does, but he has not the same offense it was last year.
Yeah, and you look at their offensive line, they got Graham Barton, they drafted first round last year, center guard. He started at center for them for a long time last year in his first year. But you have Tristan Wirfs, who's out. You have Luke Gadecki, who they just extended, is now out for an extended period of time. So now you have your center from last year playing at left tackle because he's your best offensive lineman. And so we'll see what happens there. He held up decently. I didn't get a ton of time to watch him specifically in that game. But like you said, Cade Otton was hurt coming into the year. He hasn't really gotten his stride going. Chris Godwin will be back at some point. Jalen McMillan will be back at some point here in the next 3 weeks as well. So we really get to see the team come together at full strength in a month. But until that time, they are in a new offense, or at least have a new offensive coordinator. I believe he came from the Dolphins. But in this game specifically, the offenses, the Texans and the Bucs, just did not look great offensively. And you got to see at least Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter and the corners play well for the Texans, but offense has not clicked at all.
Yeah. Tim, any thoughts on these?
My only other, with those 2 games, those 2 Monday night games, the other concern, I'm bringing up all the negatives, but my concern for the Raiders, Gino went 0 for 12 on passes that went more than 10 yards.
Yeah, and 3 picks.
That's bad.
What in the world? Yeah, 3 picks. The O-line, I think, allowed 16 pressures, 3 sacks. Like, it just, I'm a little concerned for if I'm Vegas. I know they had a good game week 1. They were right there with was it New England, right? Week 1, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. But this one, I'm a little worried about that team because, again, talk about tough divisions. That's good. The AFC West is going to be a very tough division.
Agreed. Josh, did we cover all the week 2 injuries, or were there anybody that we missed? I think we got the bulk of them throughout the week.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of positions that people don't necessarily keep up with, like offensive line, like I mentioned. The right tackle for the Bucs is out. He just got paid, I think, $100 million or whatever it was over the next few years. So that's a big miss there. Kalijah Cansey, their starting defensive end, he's out for the year with a torn pec. So there's a big problem there for them. Quarterback-wise, of course, Brock Purdy's still out for a little bit of time. We mentioned Joe Burrow. He's probably out till Christmas time. If they're not slated to be in the playoffs or in contention, he's probably not going to play at all. Daniels is out for a little bit of time. McCarthy, Justin Fields, maybe a game or 2. And then Aaron Jones, like you mentioned. There's a few other guys, Jaden Reed, collarbone. But he'll be back this year as well. So a lot of injuries, unfortunately, but you see that some quarterbacks go down for the year towards the beginning, and so we got a few of those guys.
One of them's named McCarthy. He's done it 2 years in a row, and he's got a hold on. He's got a high ankle sprain.
He's got a something, but
they shut him down Tuesday morning or Monday morning.
Immediately.
It's like he didn't even have practice yet. Like, what?
Yeah.
He walked off the field just fine.
Right.
This is a game they have to win.
Mistakes have been made.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Let's look at this week 3. We already have, like we said, these games already matter. Buffalo has a 2-game head start on the Dolphins. They're 2-0. Dolphins and Jets are 0-2. And the first game of our matchup, the Thursday night game, the 12-point favorite Buffalo Bills are hosting the Miami Dolphins. Anybody taking Miami in this game?
No.
The Dolphins. The Dolphins in prime time with this regime have been terrible. I mean, you saw Will Levis have a comeback against the Dolphins a year or 2 ago. That shouldn't be happening. It's just they're poor in prime time. I think Tua's had 2 of his injuries in prime time. It's just not good.
The Bills ran for 194 yards against the Jets, who we thought the Jets might pull off that upset, right? We said the Jets had the personnel to pull that off. They put up 194 yards on the ground, 132 from James Cook. Gosh, I don't think Miami's got a shot.
No, and Miami doesn't even
that's
have.
That's why they play the games. Maybe they do. We'll watch this back and be like, hey, remember why I said they don't have a shot? But yeah.
Caleb, my only
Miami's leading
you,
rusher has 85.
Yeah,
85 total yards in
on
2
the
games?
Season.
On the season.
Yes.
Caleb, my only question for you is, will the Miami Dolphins have a coach after this loss?
It's a tough one.
You're counting the cost, right?
He said by week 6, 7. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm thinking by week 3. Okay, let's keep moving on. The first Sunday game, early game, Atlanta is visiting Carolina. Atlanta is 5.5-point favorites. Anybody picking the dog, Carolina? Nope. Pretty much as
that pressure rate without they don't have Jalen Coker. They're banged up. I don't believe in Chuba Hubbard. I don't know. Chuba Hubbard have 200 fantasy points now. Watch, but Falcons they're too good right now. They're hot.
Yeah, Falcons allowing less than 15 points per game. The Cardinals have had a good defense the last 2 weeks, and the Panthers slid back in that game and almost won that game. Offensively, outside of Bijan, they haven't looked great for the Falcons. I wonder how much their defense can hold up if the Panthers can go out there and have just even consistent play.
Yeah.
Because if the Vikings got anything going in that game, it wouldn't have been a blowout for the Falcons. It's just the Vikings were so poor.
But these divisional games, it's really just a coin flip. But I'm going to pick Falcons like Vegas did.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, it's tough to pick the Panthers right now, but
yeah. All right, let's move on. Tim, this will excite you. Green Bay going to the Cleveland Browns. As of this recording, Green Bay is 8.5-point favorites. Anybody taking the Cleveland Browns? I'm just going to move on. I can't believe I even said that out loud.
I'm not going to pick the Browns, but I think it's kind of a trap game. Mm-hmm. I would feel. Myles Garrett. If it's a close game, Myles Garrett can change a game for you.
Yeah.
I don't want it to. I don't know. It just feels weird. Flacco looked rough against the Ravens. They benched him in the fourth quarter for Dylan Gabriel, who immediately came in and scored a touchdown on his third throw. So, I don't know.
Should we read into that?
Packers, but I think it'll be a little bit close.
Yeah. Tim, go
ahead.
Should
we read into it?
It was garbage time. They were down 30.
Yeah.
Okay.
Protect your vet.
Yeah.
Tim, you go ahead.
No, the lack of mobility by Flacco. Honestly, I actually be a little bit more concerned if they started Shedeur Sanders. Honestly, I think I would be just because, only because the Packers. Well, I don't even know if I would say that because the Packers defense against Jaden Daniels last week was able to shut him down. I think they're going to be able to get to Flacco. Myles Garrett is angry. I don't know if you saw some of his comments today. He is fired up, but again, it could be a trap game. It could be. I could see it being one where, I don't know. But don't forget the Packers have had that little extra rest, that mini bye since they played the Thursday game. I think they're aware that it could be a trap game. They've been around long enough, even though they're the youngest team. Their coaches, Matt LaFleur's been around the block for a while, so he knows. I think Pack.
All right,
I think it's worth mentioning. Well, I have one more thing.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really get to mention the Browns too much. They're a top 5 team on third down right now. They are 5th in time of possession in the NFL. There's going to be a ton of short plays, a ton of dump offs. They have Quinshon Judkins back now, who had 70 yards last week. So this is a team that's been able to chip away and kind of keep it close outside of course, letting those deep touchdowns to the Ravens. They just weren't able to hold back all their receivers there. But they're able to chip away. They're able to control the time of possession. And the Packers have just been super highly efficient on offense. They're in the bottom few teams, bottom 10 for time of possession so far this year. They lose Jaden Reed. Christian Watson's still out, of course. And then the tight ends that have played against the Browns, Mark Andrews had, I think, 2 catches for less than 10 yards. So it might be a concern there if they can't have consistent flow in offense, but that would be the only concern to make you pick the Browns.
Yeah. Any given Sunday for sure, but my money is on the Packers. Okay. Houston is visiting Jacksonville. again.
Yikes.
This was too close to call. Vegas
Coin
has
flip.
0.5 for Jacksonville. So if you're looking for an upset, hey, 0.5. No, Jacksonville is favored. So anybody taking Houston? Wow.
I don't want to.
I want to because these guys don't want to fall to 0-3. I mean, and they're
Right.
too good. CJ Stroud, they on paper they've got such a stacked team. Oh, but their offense has been so bad. Houston's offense, 2 touchdowns in 2 games. That's wild, guys. Like CJ Stroud team with So and Jacksonville's looked so good. They have looked good. Like you said before, I think Josh or Caleb said it. That it looks like they should be putting up 50 or 60 points every game. Jacksonville.
Right.
So if Brian Thomas Jr. can hold on to the ball, they will. I guess I'll go Jacksonville, but that's a tough one. That's a division game.
All right, let's talk about the backup quarterback bowl. The Bengals are visiting the Vikings. Josh, you're wearing a Carson Wentz jersey for a reason. So am I going to – now they are 3-point favorites at the time of this recording. Are you going with Minnesota to cover that? Or what's your thoughts on this game?
Yeah. I mean, you saw what their defense – I know they missed Andrew Van Ginkel, but Dallas Turner, first-round edge rusher, he's going to plug in fine against Jake Browning. Eric Wilson has looked great, replacing Blake Cashman. Their defense, you saw what they were able to do against Caleb Williams week 1. Obviously, a substantially better talent than Jake Browning. Chase Brown, as Tim mentioned, has not really done anything on the ground, and he's more of a guy that gets receptions. And I don't know what he's going to do with Jake Browning, but if Jamar Chase and T. Higgins can get going, of course, that's how they win this game. But I would bet on the veteran quarterback play, the significantly better defense that was able to stop Caleb Williams. And I don't know if J.J. McCarthy wasn't so bad last week, maybe they stopped the Falcons from doing anything. But Falcons didn't look great either, respectively.
Tim, your thoughts?
The name to watch for this one right down is Jordan Mason. They're the running back for Minnesota. I think that's the game changer. Other than the fact that that's in Minnesota, I think that does help. I don't think either of these teams are very good right now, but I think Jordan Mason could be the game changer for Minnesota. Aaron Jones, as we said a few minutes ago, out for the next 4 weeks. So we're going to see really quickly, can this guy become a number 1 running back? And if he can't, then it's going to be a very long day for the Minnesota Vikings because both these teams have talent. But when you take out a quarterback, it's a big one. But I'll probably go Minnesota here.
Caleb, who do you think wins the battle of the backup?
I think that Minnesota's going to go conservative and safe like they were doing with McCarthy, but it'll be Wentz. He'll eventually be able to hit Jalen Naylor when he's deep, 10 yards on the safety. But I think I agree with Tim. Jordan Mason is going to have 20 touches. They're going to run the clock. They're going to grind down. The Bengals, they have a lot of rookies, as we talked about last week, playing linebacker, Demetrius Knight and Barrett Carter. Easy game to exploit if your running back's solid, which I think Jordan Mason is. So I think that the Vikings, I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I think it'll be close, and the Vikings will end up winning.
Yeah.
All right. Pittsburgh's visiting the New England Patriots. They're a whopping 1.5-point favorite. Who you guys got? 1.5 points.
Which Pittsburgh team is showing up? Week 1 Pittsburgh team or last week's Pittsburgh team?
'Tis the question, indeed.
Yeah.
I still take Pittsburgh. I know they're on the road. And I was looking through the divisions as well. I mean, the Patriots are 1-1. The Steelers are 1-1. I can't look at it like who needs a win more. I just feel like at this point, Aaron Rodgers is probably good for not having to struggle 2 weeks in a row. So I'm.
And I don't even know, to be honest. I know I'm the biggest Rodgers defender. I don't even know if you watch a game carefully. He didn't even necessarily have a bad game. There were a lot of drop passes. Yeah. Even I don't know if you caught the interception. It was like a ricochet off. It was like a freak play. So if they can clean up some of those drops and some of those weird plays, I think they are the better team. So I'll go Pittsburgh.
I will go Patriots. You saw them struggle against the Jets. 2-way quarterback Justin Fields. Drake May is that guy. I believe he's had over 40 rushing yards both games. Correct me if I'm wrong. I only know because he's on my fantasy team. But he's looking like a legit passer now this year. He's throwing 40 times. He's scoring multiple touchdowns, which we didn't see last year. So Vrabel and Josh McDaniels giving him that leap that he's needed. Stephon Diggs still looks rough, but with Hunter Henry, 2 running backs that can catch balls, and then the mobility that May has, we saw Pittsburgh struggle with that in week 1, so I think they're going to exploit that.
Yeah. For the Steelers' defense, I think would be a big concern. Peyton Wilson has looked fine, hasn't looked great yet. Obviously, getting his start over Landon Roberts this year. Jalen Ramsey's had big plays, but he's also allowed big plays. I know he's older at this point, but he has been a highlight of the defense. But they've allowed 31.5 points per game, 30 points over. So it's not one; it's been 30 each game. So. Yeah, that's the concern there. But also the New England Patriots, they allowed yardage to Tua and Tyreek Hill, which they haven't been able to connect at all the last year. So that might be a concern, especially with the Steelers. They've had big plays. You saw Aaron Rodgers scramble out to the right and throw, 60-some yards to Pat Freiermuth, and he couldn't reel it in. So
Beautiful.
I think the big plays are going to be there for the Steelers to be able to match the Patriots. It's just, is their defense going to be able to shut down the Patriots, who have also had deep targets to Butte and all the other guys, Travion Henderson, Antonio Gibson scoring the field on a return. So I think it's going to be high scoring for sure. But I would say the Steelers bounce back with all the mishaps they had last week.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. LA Rams visiting the Philadelphia Eagles. Philly at home are 3-point favorites. Caleb, is Matty Stats and the boys enough to take down the Philadelphia Eagles? Battle of 2-0 teams.
Yes, I think they are. We saw the Cowboys week 1 with 2 solid wide receivers and a good run game almost beat them. The Cowboys beat themselves in that game. The Rams had Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua. We saw them the Cowboys draw flags, and CeeDee Lamb have over 100 yards against them week 1. I think that Puka does that, and then Devontae Adams can do the same thing, if not draw one of those flags for him. Kyron Williams, Blake Corum, it's a great run game, great system. I don't think that 150 passing yard Jalen Hurts can keep up with Matt Stafford. I think it's an upset. They're going to be my upset. Spoiler alert, but I pick the Rams.
Josh, do you agree? Are you going with the Eagles or are you going with the Rams?
Yeah, I agree, but I also think that we get to see the Eagles passing game open up this week. And I know it's not bold to say because they've done absolutely nothing. Jalen Hurts has no passing touchdowns this year, 101 yards last week. But it's going to be different. They're going to open it up, I imagine. Like Caleb said, Puka Nacua is one of the top 5 receivers in the NFL right now. He has the most receptions in the NFL right now. And then you add Devontae Adams, you add the run game that has been effective in the red zone. They're going to score when they get there, and I think that you're going to see it happen against these younger defenders for the Eagles. So I think it'll be the highest scoring game, or the best looking offense, rather, for the Eagles so far. But yeah, I agree. I think it's a game the Rams could take away.
Tim, who are you taking?
Yep, I'm right with these guys. I was going to say, when you started mentioning the game, their backup running back, Blake Corum, got a lot more touches in week 2. And so just having that change of pace, just having 2 backs that are reliable, I think can put the defense on their heels a bit. And so you have a great running back in Kyron Williams, and then you bring in Blake Corum. Yeah, those 2 receivers, man. Jeez, the six catches for Devontae last week, 8 for Puka. I actually, as of right now, I think the Rams are the better team. I do, as of right now. That could change a lot, but I think the Rams are the better team.
Well, surprisingly, that division, 49ers, Cardinals, Rams, all sit at 2-2, and Seahawks are 1-1. I mean, no other division is quite at this point in the season. Yeah, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, 1-1. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
This division always does this, and it'll get upside down later. I'm going with you guys. I believe in Matty Stats. And listen, before you guys hit me up and tell me, that I'm a hater because it's Philadelphia Eagles, I agree with everything you're saying. Jalen Hurts is, they said last year you have to make him win the game by throwing the football in the pocket. Keep him in the pocket, make him beat you with his arm, and he can't beat you. He's not even trying this year. Like they're not even trying. So. Yeah, a little different this year.
It's working, but I don't think Sean McVay is going to let it work.
I do know that the Rams did play Cam Ward, and he's a rookie, of course. But they do have 8 sacks this year in 2 games. I think that's first or second right there with the Falcons. Yeah. And then they are the number 1 defense as far as points allowed, to 14 points per game. I don't think the Eagles can run the entire time like they did against the Chiefs, who I would say look like a worse team than the Rams 100% right now. So that was a close game. The Chiefs messed up and had drops and turnovers that could have easily been a win for them against the Eagles. So a hot offense with the 4 players we mentioned, 5 players if you count Stafford, they should be able to match and outlast the Eagles, I imagine.
Yeah.
Well, the Rams also added, sorry, real quick.
Yeah.
Last year, they were one of the teams that got ran all over. Everyone ran all over them. I think McCaffrey sees them twice. Kenneth Walker sees them twice.
Sure.
He was hurt with Charbonnet. Not good, but they picked up a guy from the Falcons. I love this guy, so I'm just going to talk about him for 10 seconds. Nate Landman. He was a rotational linebacker, buried on the Falcons. When he started 2 years ago, he averaged like 20 fantasy points if you play IDP. But now he's their green dot. He's their Mike. He's their starting linebacker that talks to the sideline. So he's their guy. On week 1, he won NFC Defensive Player of the Week. He's been like night and day. The reason why their defense is much better. They do not get run on now. He's averaging, I think it's over 7 tackles, I think, but he's been like the game changer for the Rams defense. So if you're watching the game, look for Nate Landman.
All right, duly noted. All right, I'm going to give you 2 games because I think we're all going to be in agreement on these 2 games. We're going Jets visiting Tampa Bay. Currently, the Jets are 7-point dogs, so Tampa Bay is favored by 7. And then we have Indianapolis 3.5 point favorites to beat Tennessee. Anybody taking the dog? I don't think the Jets or Titans have a chance in this game. I think Colts and Bucks continue to roll.
Tyrod Taylor, man, come on. No. Nope.
No prayer, right?
I think
No prayer.
Bucks for sure. I think Titans, Colts. It's a coin flip. It's divisional. Those are always weird, but I think the Colts are definitely the better team.
Yeah, and it is time for the Titans to do something, but I don't know.
Not yet.
It's hard to go winless.
It's hard to go winless. All right, what about this one? Las Vegas is going to Washington, going to the Capitol. Now, are we sure that Jaden's playing? Because I mean, I realize
He's not.
He's not at this point. So they did
Mario
rule him out.
Will not. Yep.
Okay. Because earlier on throughout the day, I was listening for the updates, and they kept kind of baiting it. And I even heard someone say, hey, are they trying to make the Raiders prepare for 2 quarterbacks by not letting us know? Because it seems like the right thing to do. So that must not have affected the line. Washington's favored by 3.5 at home. Anybody taking
I mean, they haven't said that he's out, but the way that they're talking certainly seems like he's out.
Right.
So we'll see. Of course,
I'm 100% picking the Rams. We watched them bottle up the Chargers this past week. Yeah. They do not have Eckler. They have Bill, who's a rookie, or they're going to bring up Chris Rodriguez. I don't like it, especially if Jaden's out. It's not. I think it's going to be bad.
So you're going Raiders all the way.
Yeah, the
Anybody
linebackers
else?
the Raiders have are way too solid.
Gotcha. I'm actually picking the Raiders to win in an upset too. For exactly the same reason. I think the Raiders have been slow going, and I think they're going to figure it out. I'm not saying they're going to Super Bowl. I'm saying that they've like I said in preseason, they're going to be a problem, and I think this is a good game for them to figure it out. The Washington defense is soft. They're slow. They're starting running backs out. They can't get their wide receiver. They don't know what to do with Debo, in the game plan, and they have Marcus Mariota. I don't see a win-win-win for Washington at all. Tim, what do you think?
Well, to be honest, I was on the fence when I was looking at this game. But the more you guys are talking, I agree. I agree with everything you're saying. They have not found a way to use Debo Samuel effectively in that offense, and especially if Mariota's their quarterback. I think you're right. I think it is time for the Raiders to put something together. Gino's got to go up from there. He literally, like I said, he was over 12 for passes of over 10 yards. You can't get worse than that, basically.
Yeah.
He's going to put it together. And I think, I agree with you, Dave. I think those Raiders are going to be tough throughout the year. They're not going to be an easy out for anybody.
No.
And everybody pump the brakes on Ashton Genty being bad. Pete Carroll said today they're going to give him 20 carries. So this is the game to blow up. They're banged up. Washington's defense banged up. Dietrich Weiss is out for the year, torn quad. I mean, I'm buying Genty this week. I'm hoping that he gets his 20 touches.
It's worth mentioning that Josh Connerly, the first-round tackle from the Commanders, his first matchups in the league came against Brian Burns and Abdul Carter and Kayvon Thibodeau. And then you have Micah Parsons week 2, and now he's slated to get Max Crosby. So, he's been bad, but some justification
Not
there.
fair.
He's playing against all these top 5 guys.
22-year-old playing against the top 5 players.
Yeah.
Welcome
Yeah.
to the NFL, dude.
Yeah, and Max doesn't play around. He doesn't care who you are. Like he had
No.
some explosive plays last night. Absolutely explosive plays.
He will hurt himself
Yes.
tackling you. He's crazy.
100%. All right, speaking of the Raiders and that division, let's move on to Bo Nix, who desperately needs a win, going to battle the Chargers at home. As of today, the Chargers are only 2.5-point favorites at home. I think that, I mean, they're both great teams. Anybody taking the Broncos in this one? No,
but I think it's going to be close.
Really?
I do. I mean, you mentioned Khalil Mack's out.
Yeah.
You've already have Deion Henley's playing out of his mind, which is great for them, but they still don't have their opposite guy playing next to him. They have Troy Dye, who's played well. And then you have the younger secondary players. So you come into a game against Bo Nix, who's not going to not throw the deep ball against you. Troy Franklin had his breakout game last week. The run game has been explosive. That RJ Harvey is explosive as well. We saw it week 1. They're a sound team. I think they're the most sound team that the Chargers have through these first 3 games. And then they're coming off a loss against the Colts, which going into the year, you feel more comfortable about that. But stepping away from the loss there against them, I think it's going to fuel them. And the Chargers have really been living, like Tim said, on explosive plays because their run game has not been existent. Greg Roman, known for running the football, has not been running the football. You got deep shots to Johnston and the consistency of Keenan Allen that they've been depending on. So we'll see. It's a tough matchup with Pat Surtain one-on-one. You're probably going to diminish those explosive plays. We're going to see the Chargers have to run. And so I think there is some sort of exploitable factors for that defense against the receivers for the Broncos.
Yep. Anyone else before we move on?
I'm picking the Broncos. I think these teams are really close. I really do. I think the Chargers are the better team. They're at home too. But I think the Broncos, like Josh said, they got beat last week. There was a lot of yelling on the sideline. Sean Payton and Bo Nix yelling at each other, like they tend to do. It's weird. But Evan Ingram's healthier now. He's coming 2 weeks off his calf injury. It happened in week 1. He played last week, didn't do anything. Cortland Sutton got locked out. J.K. Dobbins looks great. It's a J.K. Dobbins revenge game, which might be cool.
Yeah.
Chargers are getting banged up. They're starting to lose people. They lost Khalil Mack. They don't have their other starting linebacker. Young secondary. I just think Bo Nix is going to force it to Cortland Sutton, and it's going to work. They're going to run the clock out with Dobbins. It's going to be close. It's divisional. I'm just going to pick the Broncos.
Yeah, and it's the Chargers only sacked Bo Nix twice per game when they played last year. I say only, but for a defense that was that good last year to only sack him twice in each individual game, he's been able to escape, and he's had pretty decent games. More so the December game that he went 29 of 40, 270 with 2 touchdowns and a decent rushing stat line there as well. So it's not like he played poorly against them when they played last year. And then you have and take advantage of those injuries.
Tim, who are you taking and why?
Taking Chargers, but not confidently. I think the only thing that would surprise me would be a blowout for either way. And I won't add too much more on because Josh and Caleb said exactly what I have written down for this game, honestly. I mean, the loss of Khalil Mack is huge. I think that's potentially that could be the difference in the game. Yeah, exactly. He is the heartbeat of that defense. And so would I be surprised if the Chargers lost? No, not at all. But I do think the Chargers win because I think they're the better team.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to glaze over this because I don't think we disagree at all. The Saints are visiting Seahawks. The Seahawks are favored at home. That's 12th man. Yeah. That's a big deal. 7.5. Yep. I don't think anybody here is going to be taking the Saints to upset there. But let's land on this one for a second. Dallas getting no love, guys. They're 1.5 point favorite over Chicago. I find that puzzling, considering the amount of offense productivity between the two squads. So 2 things here: either the Bears finally kick it into gear and become super offense, or the Cowboys continue to drop 20 to 30 points a game and beat the Bears. What do y'all think? Tim, let's go to you first.
Oh, go to Tim, yeah.
Yeah, Cowboys for sure. Yeah. Not because I'm a Packers fan. There's fans out there watching. Of course, you picked against the Bears, Tim, jerk. No, the Bears are just not there right now. Like I said, they gave up so many huge plays to. I mean, go back and watch the Detroit game. I think to be honest, I think Dallas has a more dangerous, just as dangerous of an offense as Detroit does. And so if they were able to put up 52 points, what's going to change in a week? I mean, it's not like Chicago's getting all these players back that are game changers on defense. They're basically running the same team out there. And unless Caleb Williams learned how to play quarterback and they learned how to scheme for him a little bit better, I think Chicago will put up some points. They will. But I think I expect this one to be a high-scoring game, and I expect Dallas to win.
All right, Caleb, what do you think?
I want Dallas to win. I think Dallas will win, but I've seen too many times Dallas lose these games.
Really?
I think this game, if Deron Bland's playing, 100% Dallas. But if he's out, it's 50-50. I think that 500 yards, Russell Wilson, whatever it was last week, it's not encouraging. Caleb Williams is not incapable. I mean, he can hit the open guy. If Deron Bland's out, I'm not confident that it's going to be good for Dallas. But I think it'll be close regardless. Dallas kind of lets teams linger. I don't know. I'm biased, but I'm picking Dallas. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Bears win.
Josh?
Yeah, I agree. The Dallas Cowboys should be favored. They have arguably the best receiver in the league. He hasn't gotten his touchdown yet this year. He's putting up 100+ yards a game. So he's been very consistent. You now have a depleted secondary with rotating Noah Sewell. It's not been good for them. It wasn't good for them. 3 touchdowns. Amon-Ra, 2 catches for 100 and a touchdown against Jameson.
Yeah.
It just doesn't look good. I mean, they couldn't stop Montgomery in the red zone. They couldn't stop Jahmyr Gibbs at all. The defense is the worst part. And so could it be a similar game to the Giants? While the Giants have a better defense? Maybe. But I think you're going to see DJ Moore have his big game against the secondary. He's faster than all the DBs for the Cowboys. If Ben Johnson's watching that game right now, he's going to try and deploy him as much as he can, like 100%. Malik Neighbors against that secondary. So you'll see that, and the Cowboys have to respond to that. But I think drive to drive, the Bears are just not consistent enough. They're not getting in position to get field goals. It's basically a touchdown or nothing. There's no middle ground there. There's no getting past the 50 and getting a field goal. Just not in the books for them. And obviously the Cowboys need to get to midfield to get a field goal. So apparently. So it's just a safer pick, of course, for the Cowboys.
Yeah, I broke out the 8s tonight thinking about how big a deal it is that this team has had four people wear 88. And 2 of them are Super Bowl champions, 2 of them are not. And I'm the biggest critic of our current 88 because he does drop the football, and it's frustrating. He did it his first couple years, and he got better at it. But no one works harder. Nobody wants to win more. So I think this is the week that he gets his touchdown, as Caleb said. I think this is the week. I'm a big momentum guy, so I'll move on by saying this. I really enjoyed seeing how the team responded to their first win for their new head coach. And I think they'll carry that momentum in. I think they'll win big. And I don't say that usually. I say that because I believe in momentum. And I think this is a game, if there ever was, that they can take that in. They're running the football well. Their defense has been hurt and have made some mistakes. And yes, if you can get on top of the Cowboys, you can obviously smoke us because there's your formula. Everyone's going to be doing it. I just don't think the Bears can, and I don't think they will. And I think Eberflus has shown he makes adjustments game to game. Still a coach's league. I'm taking Dallas big. They'll cover. They'll win big. All right, let's talk about this one because I'm sure this one will be split. Arizona, San Francisco, Mac Jones favored by 1.5 at home. Who you guys got? You don't have to go deep, but just give me who you got.
I'll say Cardinals. This division, the parity's too. It's very even. They go back and forth every year, no matter how good the team is. I feel like so. The Cardinals' defense is really good. Mac Jones played great football last week. 300 or no, not 300. Sorry, 3 touchdowns. Looked solid. Did he have a pick last week? I don't think he did.
Lost a fumble. He lost a fumble.
That's what it was. Yeah.
No pick.
Almost 300 yards. I think he had 279. So
yeah.
I mean, he looked very Purdy-like.
Very
surprise,
system
surprise.
Quarterback-like. But we'll change the subject. I think Cardinals have a shot. Their defense is really good. Will Johnson, their corner, has been arguably one of the best corners in the league this year. Playing on Juwan Jennings, it looks like. So I don't think it's going to be hard for the Cardinals to put up points or stop points from being scored at least.
I'm a pure hater, so I don't think that the Cardinals are capable of ever winning. So I just go with San Fran by default. Josh, you're not a hater like me, but who do you got in this one?
So, like Caleb said, it's pretty split. The last 10 games, they're both 5-10 in those games. Not the Cardinals, but the 49ers in their years, just 2 years ago, where they were Super Bowl contenders, Super Bowl team, they put up 45 against them. They put up 35. And then the years prior, 38, very dominant. But the last 2 times they played over the last 2 years, it's been a loss by 1 point, 23 points score to 24, and then a loss 24 to 47. So this is not the same team that it was, obviously being injured as well. The Cardinals can just chip away. And you're playing against Mac Jones. You're not playing against a confident receiving core, at least as far as there's a new guy running around out there every week. But I think this is a good game for the Cardinals. But the Cardinals they can let you down at any moment. We saw against the Panthers. The Panthers last game.
That's what they are.
Just did nothing for the fourth quarter, and it's frustrating. So I think in a confident Cardinals team, they can beat this team for sure.
Are you taking the Cardinals?
Last 2 times.
You're taking the Cardinals.
I'll take the Cardinals for the sake of they have Marvin Harrison. He's going to have a big game. Kyler Murray. I just think the skill players are better at this point in time outside of Christian McCaffrey. And
right, we got 2 Cardinals and 1 49er. Who you got?
I'm gonna be different. Sorry, not just to be different, but I like Fred Warner on the defense for San Francisco. I don't like for Arizona that they've got a rookie cornerback. They've lost their 2 starting cornerbacks, Melton and Williams. They're both out. I don't know. If the Niners actually had some receivers, I'd feel way more confident. But I don't know. Losing when you got rookie cornerbacks out there, I'm going to go San Francisco just because I liked what I saw of Mac Jones last week. I like Kyler. I mean, I've got him as a quarterback in one of my fantasy leagues. He might be on the bench, but I do like Kyler Murray, and I think you mentioned all the reasons why you would argue for Arizona, and I could see that, but I like that Niners are at home. I don't know how much of a difference that makes, but, it's something. I just don't ever fully trust Arizona.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about the 2 Monday night games again. If you're on the East Coast, guess what? You're staying up late because you have the Kansas City Chiefs joining the New York Giants on the East Coast. Guys, does anybody picking the Giants? Kansas City, we talked earlier in the broadcast that they are not themselves and they need to turn it around. I'm going, they're 6.5. I'm just picking. We're not necessarily going with points. I think KC wins. I think they weather the storm. I think they, again, this is a coach's league. And at the end of the day, if I'm playing chess with Andy Reid or Brian Daboll, I'm going with Andy Reid all day. So from that statement alone, I understand home field advantage. I understand they just blew up the Cowboys for a million yards. I'm going KC. I think it's time. They need to win. Who wants to take this one?
I will take. This is why I'm last in my pick'ems league because I think about things too much. The Giants are at home.
Yep.
Momentum. I'm going to quote you, what you just said a few games ago. Russell Wilson's hot. Neighbors hot. Their defense is hot. I just don't like the Chiefs' offense right now. It's just not. It's not. This is the game for Pacheco to blow up because we saw Javonte, I mentioned it earlier, have 130 yards against this defense. But the Giants are just too hot. I think they're going to be good for a few more weeks and then they'll fizzle out as things do in this league. But I'm going to pick the Giants.
Now let me remind you because you two haven't told me yet. And Caleb, you can renege on this if you need to. The Chiefs are 0-2. So this implication is Brian Daboll will force the Chiefs to be 0-3. Anybody else buying that?
This is the second time in Andy Reid's career of being 0-2.
Wow.
I am going to piggyback on every single thing Caleb just said. I'm buying. I was going to say similar things, to be honest with you, Caleb, because go back, a half hour ago when we were going through last week's games on the podcast of of what went wrong with the Chiefs. And we probably spent 5 minutes unpacking everything that went wrong with the Chiefs. And I don't know, again, there's no help coming immediately. If Worthy was back this week, if Rice was back, then there's some like reason for hope. And you go, okay, things are, or if, I don't know. But I know it's a different opponent every week, obviously, and the Giants are the Giants. But the fact going with the momentum of Russ and 400 something yards, I mean, that's insane. The Chiefs are just not very good right now. Very few times can we say that with the Chiefs over the last 7 or 8 years. But at this point in the season, I don't think the Chiefs are very good. Now, maybe they prove me wrong and they go out and they put up 50 points and they destroy New York. But I like the Giants at home and I like them coming off their momentum.
All right,
Yeah,
Josh.
the last time the Chiefs were 0-3 to start off a year was 2014. If y'all recall, that's the year that I think they had Dwayne Bowe, maybe they didn't. But 2014, they didn't have a single receiving touchdown to their wide receivers that year, which sounds ridiculous, but they're the only team to do that. So their running backs, their tight ends, their quarterbacks throwing to those two positions were the ones scoring, not wide receivers. And we kind of see that this year right now as Tyquan Thornton deep shots, and that's it. So no, it's tough for them. Obviously, it's over a decade now. Andy Reid, I think it was his first or second year coaching there since they've been that bad. But there was reasoning for that. It is similar, but they do have Pat Mahomes comparatively to I think Alex Smith, and it's the Giants. The Giants, I know they had a great game. If the Giants didn't have that type of game last week, are we confidently going in towards the direction of the Giants? I don't know. But like y'all said, they're hot. I don't think the Chiefs are going to go off to 0-3 this time.
Yeah, and ironically, you mentioned that year that Andy Reid was there and they had no wide receiver get a touchdown. That's also the year they beat the New England Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks and finished 9-7. And ironically, the Seahawks and Patriots were the two teams that went to the Super Bowl that year. All right, final game, the late Monday night game. I guess.
So you're saying the Giants are going to the Super Bowl?
Nope, not saying that.
No.
Don't put words in my mouth. Here's some teams that might go to the Super Bowl. Detroit Lions are visiting the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore's 5.5-point favorites at home. Guys, I hope they score 1,000 points and go at each other because I have no faith in these two defenses necessarily stopping the other one. Tim, have you got a winner for this one?
I want Baltimore as a Packers fan. I'd like to say Baltimore. I think it's actually a really good game, and I think it's a telling game for both teams.
Agreed.
I want to see. I'm like I said about the Lions. Let's start with them for a second. They weren't as bad. I don't think they're as bad as they played against the Packers, and I don't think they're as good as they were against the Bears. So here's another good test for them. Different team than Green Bay, obviously, but I want to see how they respond. Are they closer to that week 1 Lions team, or are they that offensive juggernaut that couldn't be stopped in week 2? I'm more curious than in a predicting mode right now. I'll make a prediction, but still. And then for the Ravens, we didn't really say too much about it, but such a good bounce back win for them. That week 1 could have been a devastating, like, I know it sounds funny, but blow up your season type of loss in week 1 to Buffalo. If not for that Derrick Henry fumble, we're probably talking about the Ravens as the best team in football right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
They'd be 2-0. They would have beaten the Bills. They would have destroyed Cleveland. So I'll go Baltimore for the sake that I think they're the more consistent team. Now, let's hope they don't. If it's tight, they might blow the lead again. But I think the fact that it's in Baltimore again, I know I bring that up a lot, but sometimes that plays into it a little bit.
For sure.
The home field thing. I do think Baltimore's the better team. I'm curious to see how Detroit's able to stop Lamar, stop Derrick Henry, stop some of those weapons that they have. But I think I'm very curious to see how Detroit matches up.
Caleb?
This one is going to be hard. I mean, they're both top 5 teams in the league, in my opinion. Man, it's going to come down to coaching. We saw Harbaugh make some suspect decisions week 1. They turned that around week 2. I overanalyze this stuff. I think Lions will win, but because the Ravens have a rookie kicker.
Mm.
He's going to miss some kicks.
That's a hot take.
Yeah.
That's a take of some kind.
Yeah, whatever. Lions, they're hot too. So
All right, so
I don't think they put up 50, but they can put up 28, 35. I mean, we saw the Ravens get smacked by the Bills week 1. Their secondary is still bad.
Yeah.
All right, so we're
I mean,
split.
both secondaries are bad. So, yeah, we're split.
All right, Josh?
Yeah, it's tough because you get the combination of Jared Goff playing outside and Jared Goff playing in a primetime game. I mean, he hasn't been.
Yeah, we
he hasn't
forgot
been
about
great.
that. Never mind. No.
Yeah.
He hasn't been, notably great, or at least comparable to what he did last week. In these games, I think last time they played, they beat the Texans, but he threw 4 or 5 picks or something. It was something silly like that. They shouldn't have won that game.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get the Ravens. I think in a similar regard, they're scoring too fast, or their drives are just nothing. Their time of possession is very low. But obviously, you look at last week, and this is based off of 2 games, but Tez Walker has 3 catches in his career, 3 touchdowns. You saw the 2 deep touchdowns. You saw the deep DeAndre Hopkins touchdown. You see the big
Tylan
plays from
Wallace,
Derrick Henry.
touchdown.
Yeah, deep plays from Derrick Henry in week 1. So, I mean, there's reasoning to why they're not having a ton of time of possession. But the Lions should do so. Even if Jared Goff, I know it's just a silly thing, like Jared Goff is bad in prime time, Kirk Cousins, whatever. But yeah, I think the Ravens at home makes a lot of sense. They're very explosive, and they haven't not been explosive. They've scored 40 points the last 2 games. Number 1 offense in the league right now. So no reason why they shouldn't show back up. But once again, we could have one of those stinker games like the Ravens randomly give us once a year. So.
Yeah, it looks like you're the lone wolf there, Caleb. Looks like everybody's drinking the Baltimore Kool-Aid. Hey, I think it's great. I think we need games like this. I'll be honest, guys, as we're wrapping up tonight, I think there's been some incredible matchups already. Like, we joke about games that I say sometimes don't matter. They all matter. Obviously, I'm just being facetious. But Josh, what are you drinking out of? What's the imagery between that? I can't see it, but I just saw. It was
Giants.
It was last week's deal there. Yeah.
Eagles wins jersey. Giants mug. So keep you on your toes.
I know. I'm going to be honest.
You never know what's coming.
I'm going to be honest. My beautiful bride was down here and said, "Hey, you're wearing a black shirt. You can't wear a black shirt in front of a black background." I'm like, "Babe, I got this." She's like, "No." So I threw this on, but then I was reminded how many different 88 jerseys I've had in my life. I may be one of the few people that have had them all. Like, I've had them all.
You just need a blank one at this point.
I'm just going to take the name off the back of this one because, it's inevitable. But no, there's been some crazy, crazy matchups. And as I think about, especially your division, Tim, which we could get 3 out of 4 of those guys wouldn't surprise me if they're in the Super Bowl. 3 out of 4 of the AFC West would not surprise me in the Super Bowl. And I think in that regard, we've already seen, like, I don't think there's any prayer that 3 out of 4 of the NFC West would be in the Super Bowl. Maybe one of those teams shines, but it's already proved to be, and kudos to the schedule makers, because, we were critical in the last couple of years of having terrible games or having, Caleb, you mentioned that somebody has way too many primetime games, the Vikings maybe, just consecutively, and we want to see good football.
McCarthy was going to be good.
Guys, I'm going to say the most controversial thing that I've said all year. I'm good for a great controversy. Josh is already rubbing his head thinking, oh no. I haven't seen anything with McCarthy or Shador to tell me they should be in this league. Nothing. Other than maybe arm strength. Like, they both can hurl the ball way further than me. But that doesn't make you a good NFL quarterback. Because I'm not convinced that I'm not convinced they have mechanics, that they can read a defense pre-snap or post. I'm not convinced that they have all the throws. Josh, you mentioned it. I can't unsee it. McCarthy throws so incredibly awkward that I feel like he's going to break his arm when he throws the football, which he probably will when he comes back in 3 weeks from a high ankle sprain. So I'm baffled at what I'm hearing in the world about angry that Shador's not starting, or he can't start, and McCarthy's disappointing.
Regardless, it's what we've seen from them in the NFL. McCarthy had his 1 quarter, but every other quarter, the 7 other quarters, he's not been good. Shador in his second preseason game, I mean, what did he have? As many sacks taken as attempts, whatever it was. It's just they're both not ready to start. And like Tim mentioned, they had the full opportunity to have McCarthy sit and not rush him out. If you think he's really that good, you roll Sam Darnold, and guess what? You overpay him like the Giants did, and you have a very confident backup at least if he's not good again. But they just messed that up. And so the Browns, they're in no space to start Shedeur either. It's just if they play good football during football games, NFL games, then sure. But we don't see it yet.
Yeah. Even Caleb Williams, my fear is, as good as he is and supposed to be, I don't feel like him and his coach are jiving at all. And that can ruin a coach or player. Do you agree, Tim?
I do. I do. I meant to mention before, I think it's hysterical that Eberflus is going to ruin the Bears again this week. By
virtue of
the
coaching.
coach for Dallas, and he's going to be causing some things. But yeah, no, I agree completely. Ben Johnson. Now, I'll be curious 5 or 10 years down the road when the book comes out of Ben Johnson, the story of him taking the job. Was he sold on Caleb Williams when he took the job? He knew who the quarterback was going to be. Did he think he could fix him? Did he think it was just the offensive line? Did he see something that we're not seeing? Because go back a few episodes of this podcast, I was the first to say, I think the Bears are going to be really good this year. I think Ben Johnson's the answer. I think, and I know they had an up and down roller coaster preseason, but if you don't have that relationship between head coach and quarterback, that they're on the same page and not battling each other, that's a recipe for disaster.
And the media is trying to make a soundbite out of, I think, Liam in Jacksonville and Trevor having that whole thing that they did where Trevor's like, whatever. Yeah. But the reality is that's just, you do that with your coaches. That's not disrespect at all. Like, I don't know that I've ever had a coach that I didn't be like, whatever, bro, or you just, it's emotion. That's not a problem. In fact, I'll be honest, I've been picking on Trevor a lot this year, telling the boys, like, when's he going to actually be good, and trying to watch their faces as I say this. They can't hold it. And look, you guys are doing good because they love the guy. And I do too. But I mean, how many years can you not elevate your team before they're looking in another direction? And maybe I'm wrong. I think the kid's great. I hope he elevates his team. I hope this coach gets him there. He looks great this year.
Yeah, it does look good this year. Right.
Yeah. So, hey, this is the wonderful thing about the sport, Injuries prevail sometimes, and it takes good players off the field. But by and large, like, we're seeing some pretty good football right out of the gate. Any closing thoughts, anybody? Josh, any comments? Caleb, Tim, before we wrap this one?
No.
Yeah, start George Pickens this week. No DBs on the Bears. He's going to be the guy. He's been drawing, I forget the yardage, forgive me. It's almost 100 yards a game in DPIs that he's drawing. So he's very valuable for the offense. Whether you own him in fantasy, you're probably upset. He finally scored last week. But he's doing a lot for Dallas. So
you know who I'm not upset about? Javonte Williams. That offense with him. I mean, he seems to be
RB2 in the league right now. Who
would have predicted that? I don't know. Well, this is our week 3 preview. If you would go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, we really would appreciate it. Podcast is available anywhere you listen to podcasts. And of course, we're here on YouTube and on Instagram. So check us out at Guys Without Helmets. Guys, as always, this has been great. I can't wait to talk a little bit more football with you guys next week.